So if it looks like I've been crying before the video, this time it's actually somewhat true. I welled up because I watched a video that was heartwarming that I should not have watched, but I'm okay. My bad. Just gonna go with this anyway. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake. It's going through some controversy, and some people are just diminishing the controversy or making fun of other people that even bring up this controversy. And then there's some people that are like, I'm not buying this game anymore. And you know, let's talk about it. First of all, what happened? There was a cat calling scene in the original game that was revealed to have changed in this remake. Supposedly, it's more accurate to the original script, which, you know, it's sort of like, which side do you fall on with that? Do you feel as though the script was so good in the original GameCube game that it should have been largely untouched? Or do you fall on this side that we've seen in recent years with people where they want to see the script translated almost as accurately as humanly possible? This one's really tough because the localizers for the Paper Mario games were insanely good. Paper Mario and also the Mario and Luigi games, they just have this flair to them that is obviously not translated properly from the Japanese version. And so we're gonna lose that for this version. I think, me personally, I'm okay with that. If I want that localized script from the GameCube version, I know of methods that I can get to experience that. And now I can experience the script for more so what it was, I think. I bet you it's going to be a hybrid between the two. We definitely saw that with the Mario RPG remake that happened recently. So that's controversy number one. Then the other controversy is that there's elements that were removed from this remake, like a chalk outline of a dead toad that's not in this version of the game anymore. It's funny to me that they left in the noose. You know, that's something that I could have easily seen getting stripped out of the game, yet somehow that stayed. But the chalk outline of the toad, no, that's too much. I think that's crap. I do think that, like, look, if you're gonna bring this game to modern audiences, I don't care how the ESRB has changed since then. You give the game that you made before, and you give it the most amount of respect humanly possible to have it cleaned up, made nicer looking, and have it be primarily the same, maybe with extra content, and maybe with quality of life improvements. And what I'm seeing with this remake is there's a lot of things, a lot of little things here and there. You're like, well, that's not for the better, damn it. Like, I don't want the game to be slightly worse in ways. Like, for example, another controversy was that it's dropped from 60 FPS to 30 FPS. A lot of people don't mind that change. To me, I look at it and go, this is a game that's 20 years old. It should perform better than the original game, not worse. And you could argue that, like, well, all the models are redone and there's effects applied to the game that make it look so much nicer. And to that, I say, not worth it. This is just my personal opinion, of course. It's I'm not speaking for everybody. I want to make that very clear. And I can also completely understand other people's opinions where they would much prefer how this game looks to the original GameCube version. And I respect that opinion, okay? So, like, don't get it twisted. But asking for my personal opinion, I would say that adding all these effects and all this stuff was completely unnecessary. I think it also actually sort of made it in some ways worse looking than the original game, because the original game had like these bright colors that popped. Like, these bold colors that you see in these older games are being used less and less as we go into these new generations, especially on the Switch. The Switch, for whatever reason, every game feels like it needs to have like this light bloom that sort of sucks out the color of a lot of these cartoony games. And Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door is a great example of what I'm talking about here. It's almost like Color Splash with the straw. I shouldn't be making gestures like that, with the straw and like sucking the color out. I'm okay with it. I can work with it, and I can also just be excited at changes, you know? But if all that comes at the cost of also hurting the performance of the game, then it's sort of like, man, you're making a change that wasn't entirely necessary to begin with, and the game is suffering for it in some ways. Maybe in a minor sense to a lot of people, but you can't argue the fact that drop from 60 FPS to 30 FPS isn't hurting the game in some way. It is. Like, would it be more ideal for it to be 60 FPS? Yes. And from there, I know that a lot of people can sort of cope with that. The fact still remains, it did take a hit on its performance. So I guess what I'm saying here is that, like, it's kind of sad that we're getting a remake, or in my personal opinion, I think that this game is using the source code of the original GameCube version and then adding a lot of things. And I think that in truth, when you look at it logically, like this is a like really dolled up remaster. I know that there's like added animations and stuff like that. I get that. Still, based off of what I've seen, it looks like it might be a remaster. We'll see. Point being that like we're gonna have this game reintroduced to us, and it's in a state that's not better than the original across the board. Losing the chalk line is not a better feature. That is a concession made to make this project possible, I guess. 30 FPS, not better. It's factually worse. And adjusting the script for a modern audience, it's better to err on the side of let's not change anything at all with the script than it is to change anything about the script, because of the fact that it ends up upsetting some people. Didn't upset me. You already heard my opinion earlier on that particular topic, but things are adding up. And with that still all being said, it's really hard to get your hands on an original copy of Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. And on top of all this, please let's all just keep in mind that this game is still going to be infinitely better than Origami King or Color Splash or definitely Sticker Star. So supporting this by buying a copy of the game tells Nintendo what we want to see out of the Paper Mario franchise. So I still tell my audience, if you're interested in this game, pick up this game. Don't let these little distractions stop you from playing what is still going to be a fantastic title. It's still just interesting at the end of the day to just sort of talk about all these changes, and it's also interesting to see how the public is reacting to it. And I just wanted to also throw in my 2 cents on how I personally reacted to all these things. But that still being said, I'm still going to pick up the game and I'm still going to enjoy it, I'm sure. And I think that if you pick up this game and you like RPGs, you're going to love it as well. Like if you have never played it before, it's one of those must-play titles that's offered by Nintendo. So there you go. There's my personal thoughts on the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door controversies. I think it's all silly at the end of the day. I think that this is a great opportunity to play the game again. I know that it's kind of a bummer to see some sort of things change for some people, and if you're one of those people, I get you. But hey, at least we'll have something to play in May that's going to be like a guaranteed banger. I know those little distractions will always be a distraction regardless. There's worse things that have happened in video games in general. So, you know, we'll be all right. I guarantee we're all still going to enjoy it at the end of the day. All right. Well, anyways, thanks for listening to what I have to say about this. Take care.